Greetings, sunshines and sunnies. It is I, Queen J Lotus, Pimp Sun Kiss, coming at y'all right quick, right fast, maybe, with a past life reading for which one of your lovers / admirers has been chasing / pursuing you throughout lifetimes. So your past lifetimes up and throughout this lifetime. And we're going to do it in pick a card form. And without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into the pick a card. So I decided to do this pick a card with Rebel Oracle messages. So it is highly encouraged that you pick your pal, your group, based on the message here that you resonate with. Now, you can also, you know what I'm saying, go by what you will as your intuition works. You can go by the color, whatever, what have you, keywords, you know what I'm saying, do your thing. But I highly recommend that you go with the phrase that you most resonate with for this case. So, okay, got 3 groups. Group 1 is being represented by the Rebel Oracle message. You are a hot mess. Fact. Clean yourself up. Group 2, you need a good fucking cry. Group 3, drink a smoothie, unfriend that asshole, and throw some shit at mama. Okay, now take your time, pause if you need to, do your thing. Y'all chose drink the smoothie, unfriend that asshole, and throw some shit out. The fact that y'all chose this one and the vibe that I'm getting off of the card and through the messages that are channeling through y'all's persistent past life pursuing partner. This individual, either for some of you, mirrors a more laid back, easygoing, not a person of many words, but when they do speak, they have something meaningful to say. And just a real chill vibe, just a real cool vibe. For some of you, likely those of you that resonate with that aspect of it, this person probably feels like home. Maybe not your original home, but the home of your soul. Calm, peace, serenity, yeah. And now there's a flip side for some others of y'all where this person, the energy that they give you, the things that they put you through, your experience of them, wears you out to a point of fucklessness. They are so dramatic. They just do so much and not enough at all at the same time, that you just get to a point of being like, fuck it. You just gonna drink you a smoothie, unfriend some folks, and throw some shit out. So overall, for the collective, whoever this person is for you specifically, it seems as though it's meant for your experience of them to basically guide and lucky how provoke you to choosing happiness, peace, and working smarter, not harder. By either them being an example of that, or them working your nerves to a point where you just like, look. Okay. Now that was very simply stated, and this perfectly segues us to go ahead and jump into the depths and specificities of this layout. So for this first card, the question is group 3 and this most persistent past life pursuing partner currently in any form of relationship, association, or interaction throughout this lifetime, up and throughout this season of your life right now? Yes, all that, because I want to make sure that the answers that we get are as specific as possible. And speaking of which, I must do say that group 3's cards came out a lot easier and a lot clearer than the past 2 groups. And I'm going to talk about why I think that is as we get through all the cards, okay? But to answer the first question here, are y'all currently in any type of relationship, association, or interaction with this person right now, with this spirit right now, in this lifetime? And y'all got a straight up answer, big, bold, big, powerful answer of yes, with the Queen of Wands. And this also lets me know that y'all's interaction, y'all's relationship is very fertile one way or another. Either y'all have kids together, or y'all work very well on like situations, issues, projects, business agreements, something of that nature. Anything that requires y'all to work as a team, y'all seem to do it very well, especially if you let the other person lead, it seems. And also, whoever this individual is, they are likely very feminine, very empowered, fiery, divine feminine. Doesn't necessarily mean that they are a woman. It just means that they are very in tune with their dual feminine energy, meaning their light and dark feminine energy. And since we got, the fire here, the Queen of Wands, they may even be a Leo, Aries, or Sagittarius, or they have either of those signs in major placements in their birth chart. They could also be somebody that has like a position of power in the dynamic. So this could simply mean that they are the leader of y'all's dynamic, or they could even be your mother. For some of you, it could be your mother or one of your parents, one of your guardians. It could also be an aunt, or it could be somebody, a friend, associate, romantic partner that just operates in that type of style with you. They are what you could call the mother of the group. And again, if they are a man, this would essentially mean that they are more attentive, more empathic, more empathetic, more affectionate, more hands-on healing, like very nurturing, more nurturing than the average man. This person may also be very protective, not only of you, but of their loved ones in general. And sometimes they may, for some of you at least, sometimes they may even be a bit overprotective, overbearing in their protectiveness, a little too TTG, if you will, a little too trained to go. And child, with this red, orange, green, that white popping, a bit of pink popping, and the yellow, is definitely letting me know that this connection is meant to bring fun out of you, excitement, adrenaline, and also, like I said before, meant to get you to a point of choosing to remain aligned. And pay attention how, even though her leg is up, essentially she's standing on one leg, and granted, she is also using the pole that she has to kind of keep herself steady. She is still posture on point, form on point, shoulders back, chest out, chin up, ready, stable. You feel me? So that's the energy that this connection is meant to bring out of y'all, as well as it being fun and excitement. So a duality of discipline and celebration. Work hard, play hard, work hard, play hard. And like I said before, work smart, play hard. And if this person is a woman for you, then you may also want to pay very close attention to the way the woman in this card is structured. So for some of you, this particular individual may be tall and statuesque. They might be thick, you know, Amazon type stacks. And even if they are short, they may exhibit tall energy. They don't wear their shortness in their personality. They got big, bold personality. This person may have long hair, or they wear very long hair. As in, you know, either their hair grows long out of their head, or they like to wear really, really long wigs, weave. And this person may also change up their hair a lot. And even if they don't change the style per se, they could be the type of person where they start the day off with their hair down, and then by lunchtime, they don't put it in a ponytail. And by the end of the day, they got 2 ponytails. Before they go to bed, they don't put it in some buns. Somebody that, you know, kind of alternates their look as they go throughout the day, as their level of comforts, needs, and desires shift and ebb and flow throughout the day, which gives that this person may be very spontaneous as well. And it could show in the way that they dress themselves, carry themselves. They're not a person that takes themselves very seriously, or, you know, or too seriously, if you will. They just kind of go with the flow. And if you are someone who is very structured, got a little OCD, you don't really like change, you don't really like to do things unplanned, you need a schedule, you need everything to be in a specific place at specific times, things like that, you're very tedious about things, that could be why for some of you, this person raises your blood pressure. Because for some of you, you might not be able to understand how this person just blows with the wind like that. Because in your mind, you could never, like, baby, I got to plan. I got to have everything in one binder, structured and in order, organized together. Like, You may be the person that's always on time, and they may have a tendency to be late most of the time. If you say you're going to be somewhere at a certain time, you might get there about 15 minutes before. And if they say they on the way, that means they just now getting ready. So seem like opposites attract here, either way it goes. Well, that was pretty easy. We're going to go ahead and jump into the next question and card. Now, here I ask, what are their pursuing tactics? What do they do to pursue you? Not just, you know, in the beginning stages of y'all's relationship meeting and all of that, but this means throughout y'all's interaction with each other. What do they do to get energy from you? What do they do to exchange energy with you? What do they do to get attention from you, reactions from you, results from you, whatever, what have you? What do they do? What do they do? What do they do? And here we have, won't you look at that, Mother, and it is sideways. Now, it coming up sideways here lets me know that there is some type of imbalance going on, which lets me, you know, have like a little more enlightenment of why Spirit wanted to emphasize the balance that the woman in the previous card had while standing on one leg with that staff, holding it steady, honey. Okay. So, tactics of pursuit. This person, once again, like I said from the previous card, they mother you. So when force is not working, and I'm using that for lack of better terms, when, let me say, sternness, when sternness and firmness is not working with you, you know, you may be in your feelings, you may be feeling a little sensitive or whatever, they take on a more calm, soothing tone when talking to you. It's something that can come out very seductive, and not just in a sexual way. For some of you, it may be a sexual way, but for some of you, it's just a tone that is like you attract more bees with honey type shit. So they be luring the bee out of you with that sweet talking that they do. And for some of you, they may not sweet talk. They may do acts of service, like run you a bubble bath or take you out to eat to have a particular conversation, or ask you to do something, or ask you for something, whatever it is. Or they may rub your feet, or they may give you some money or something to butter and sweeten you up for the cause. And other times, and or for others of you, this person may get real crazy by the mouth, fiery by the mouth, start snapping, just telling you about yourself, raw and uncut. It's giving like the energy and rhetoric of Rochelle from Everybody Hates Chris, if you will, or maybe even Claire Huxtable from The Cosby Show type shit. When they gets on your ass, they gets on your ass, and they hurt your feelings probably, but it seems as though you all know, or at least trust or want to trust, that they are coming from a good place and they mean well. Even though this may cause for y'all to bump heads at times, somehow y'all make it through because it seems just like y'all have a pretty good understanding of each other. The imbalance comes in where for some of you it's a bit codependent, to where you may be kind of using this person as a coach. And there's nothing wrong with them operating as a coach when you need it, because you know that's what friends are for. That's what relationships are for. You should be able to benefit off of people that you have relationships with one way or another. However, unless you paying them to be your life coach type shit, and even if you are paying them, there still has to be some sort of boundaries there. You still need to be self-motivated. And I am picking up too, even though I haven't really said it, put too much emphasis on it, because it seems like it's a small portion of the group. You know, don't feel insignificant. It's gonna not make sense, right? So if you are the person that is more of the mother in the dynamic, also, you know, take it how you supposed to take it. The shoe that fits, wear it, okay? So that being said, if you are the mother in the dynamic, Spirit is saying you need to know when to pull it back. You need to know when to, don't save her, she don't want to be saved, don't save her, she don't want to be saved, don't save her, she don't want to be saved, don't save her. And like I was saying, those of you who find yourself being codependent in that way, where you're not the most self-motivating, self-driven, you need somebody to tell you when to go. Tell me when to go. You need somebody, you know what I'm saying, like that. You got to know how and when to stand up for yourself. And honestly, in general, you got to be your own star player. You know what I'm saying? It's good to know your limitations and be honest about the fact that you need friends, or, you know, whoever you're in relationship with, whoever is a part of your village, they need to be somebody that motivates you and holds you accountable and pushes you. But you also need to make sure that you're doing that for yourself just as much, if not more, because it's still your responsibility to make sure you get the most out of this life and out of your purpose in this life and out of the relationship, and also that you're giving your best in the relationship, because sometimes the strong friend needs some motivation too. And that may not be your strong suit, but you may need to prioritize times and places for you to put forth the extra effort to extend some motivation, some rooting for, some motherly energy to this other individual. And if you are the mother in a relationship, you need to require more from this connection, from the person and people that you have connections with. And that's a part of that message about, like, this experience of this particular individual is meant to provoke you into being more easygoing. A part of that is having boundaries in your relationships that make it so you're not doing all the work, that make it so you and your village are making life easier for each other. Because for many of you, the way that the dynamics are set up, this connection is not bad. This connection is really not bad at all. But where things get dark and staticky and confusing is where, because there's an imbalance in the relationship, both of you end up feeling a need to be manipulative with each other one way or another. Both of you have moments where you playing dumb or where you're belittling the other one, or where you're kind of taking advantage and or poking at traumas and wounds and things of that nature in order to get reactions and responses and results out of each other. You see what I'm saying? Y'all be punishing each other, playing mind games and stuff a bit. There's quite a bit of that laying under the surface of y'all's interactions with each other, and that's what is making the connection not as potent as it could be. And I feel like this will be expanded on more in the next section, so I'm gonna go ahead and hop to that next question and card. For this one, I asked, what are the most reoccurring karmic issues that have followed you and this individual throughout past lives and throughout this one in y'all's relationship? And we have the moon here. That goes back to that confusion, smoke and mirrors, manipulative, illusionary energy that lays under the surface with y'all. And it gives basically a frequency of dishonesty. And it seems as though neither of you is really trying to be dishonest. It's just for some reason y'all feel like y'all can't be as direct as y'all need to be with each other, which causes this passive aggression, which causes the manipulation and the like lying by omission and the, weird code switching that is kind of disingenuous because you're doing it just to get something that you want. I hope that makes sense. And so it causes this fogginess in y'all's ability to see yourselves as individuals, and therefore y'all ability to really see each other for exactly who y'all are and how y'all operate, as well as who y'all want to evolve into and how you want to evolve who you are and who you're going to be. You see? Okay. It seems as though both of you care a whole lot about what the other one thinks of you. You really want to make sure that you don't disappoint them. Like both of y'all feel that way with each other. And whenever either of you disappoints the other one, y'all are really, really hard on yourselves. And it seems like it creates this cycle of like, oh my gosh, they're going to think this. Oh my God, they're going to think that. I got to do this so they don't think that. I got to do that so they don't think this. And sometimes certain issues, it seems that y'all have, they don't get fully resolved because one or both of you won't let it be. And that's where that excessive mothering comes in sometimes, because sometimes you got to just let the war be the war. If the vibe is bad sometimes, you just got to kind of let that tension stay there so that y'all can pick through it and navigate through it for yourselves. And then just like let the tension clear itself out, and then y'all come back naturally instead of always trying to fix it. Damage control. Or as soon as you see it about to get like confrontational, there's an immediate damage control or over nurturing that starts to happen from one or both ends. And it causes y'all to overwork yourselves in the relationship more than you would have. So yeah, it seems like one or both of you is often really afraid to either let the other person be upset with you or to be upset with the other person. And one or both of you needs to come to grips with the fact that it's okay to not be okay. And there's a time and a place for everything, including being mad at each other. And not allowing that is a form of dishonoring your emotions, which can also evoke and put you on this frequency of dishonesty. So that could be something that's contributing to that frequency that is present, or that, y'all's relationship is kind of dealing with or whatever, because it's like one or both of you is not giving each other space, or even yourselves individually space, to really honor all of your emotions. Like all of your emotions have a purpose and a power. Though we're taught that anger is a strength all the time, and that's not true. Sometimes it's a weakness, but sometimes it is a strength that is more complex than we like to make it. And so meaning the anger that you feel, it is coming up to let you know that some form of action needs to be taken. But when it comes to anger, you don't want to act too fast. You want to take a minute. That's why it's necessary to allow space for anger. Allow it to, linger in the air sometimes so that you can evaluate it and then decide and determine what act the anger is telling you to take. And we're taught that crying is weak. And dwelling in your negative emotions can eventually make you weak. It can weaken your system, weaken your mentality, weaken your spirituality, weaken your physical health, all of that. But allowing yourself the time and the place to be genuinely vulnerable and release what is boiling up to come out can actually make you stronger and literally be an act of strength in itself. And of course, there are many more emotions, but that's for you to evaluate. It's just all that said is so that you can gain an understanding that through honoring your emotions and being honest about your emotions can bring you a whole lot of clarity than just being in your head or constantly trying to fix stuff. Because if you allow your emotions to just linger for a bit, that gives you more time to observe them and analyze them, which will then strengthen your intuition, because your emotions are attached to your intuition. And not only are they attached to your intuition, they are also attached to your identity. Even look at the imagery of the card, her, looking at a variation of a reflection of herself in the water. That's about identity. And you need to observe and analyze your emotions so that you can get a greater sense of identity. And that will help you do more of what you want to do versus what you feel obligated to do. Moreover, Spirit is saying this has been taking a toll on your frequency of reciprocation and receiving. And that can eventually turn into resentment if it hasn't already. And this takes us back to all of the cards before this one, specifically as it concerns the mother aspect. So whether this person is your mother or not, there's a need to reevaluate your relationship with your mother, and not just the relationship, but also the way you see your mother. How does she carry herself? How does she navigate through storms and hard times? How does she respond to things? How have you observed her taking care of herself? Have you observed her not really taking good care of herself? Things of that nature. Have you watched your mother be abused? Have you watched her be taken advantage of, allow herself to be taken advantage of? Things to consider. And also, how does your mother navigate her own emotions from your observation? All of those things have an effect on not only how you see yourself, but also what you accept. And it can, like I said, have a major impact on your frequency of receiving. If your mother is an overgiver, or if she is excessively unavailable, either of those things can throw off your frequency of receiving in a way where either you have a hard time receiving compliments, you have a hard time asking for help and receiving help, or you have a hard time believing that anyone will reciprocate anything to you. You have a hard time believing that anyone will give you what you want, exactly what you want. And if your mother is the type of person that is easily freaked out, if she's the type of person that's very anxiety filled, quick to pop off or quick to have a meltdown or anything of the sort, that can damage your frequency of receiving, because it can cause you to dishonor your emotions. Because her being excessively emotional can cause you to feel responsible for other people's emotions, specifically your mother's emotions, and therefore put yours to the side excessively. And if your emotions are put to the side excessively, like I was just saying, there's no way really for you to truly honor them. Therefore, how will you ever truly have clear insight on what you want and need in order to ask and receive it? So I hope all of that made sense and y'all able to connect the dots for yourselves based on all that was said. And it's the perfect time to go ahead and slide into the final card for this layout. Now, for this one, I asked, what is you all's soul contract? What is the soul contract that you have with this persistently pursuing past life partner? And we have the number 31, celebration. Now, right off the bat, from the imagery of this card, and the fact that it is celebration, and the imagery gives a scene that is very reminiscent of a El Dia de los Muertos celebration. And that's giving me that some of you may have, your mothers may no longer be living. And light, love, and healing to you all if that is true. This is coming up to say that, for one, those of you that applies to, if you don't have a designated altar or anything like ritualistic annual anniversary type celebration thing that you do to like honor your mother and tap in with your mother and basically celebrate her life, you're being called to do that, not only by the divine realm, but also by your mother. Your mother is calling. Your mother wants to celebrate with you and be a more active guardian angel with you. That being said, those of you who that applies to, if whoever this person is that you're dealing with, that is, one, been chasing you through lifetimes, but also is very symbolic of your mother, reminds you of your mother, that's a direct like correlation situation that you really need to evaluate. And it doesn't seem like this person like mindfully takes advantage of your grief with your mother, like your attachment to them that is heavily influenced by your mother and the loss of your mother. However, it goes back to that like buttering up situation and just knowing things to pick at to get a response out of you or to get results out of you. And Spirit is saying that if you could really pick yourself up and, for lack of better terms, force yourself to go ahead and face this present and answer this calling to celebrate the life of your mother, tap in, open up to her spirit more, allow yourself to feel those emotions, however you're feeling, you know, concerning your process and dealing with that loss. It could allow you to free yourself from that type of codependency. And in that, This will not only help you, but also potentially help the other person to help themselves and stop using things that low-key, high-key, like shouldn't be played with and manipulated, you know. It'll force them to do their own work to make genuine, more healthy attempts and strategies and tactics of pursuing you. For the most part, for most of you, it doesn't seem like this is somebody that you need to cut off. It doesn't seem like this soul contract needs to be severed. It seems like it just needs to be renewed. And being the fact that this card is the next to the last card in this particular deck, it gives that y'all are right at the threshold of a rebirth of y'all's relationship and a rebirth of y'all's soul contract and evolution and y'all's connection. And as the book says, celebration is in close contact with memory. So with that, Spirit is low-key, high-key saying that they want you in the midst of evaluating the kinks and things that need to be worked out. Also, allow yourself to reminisce on great times, great things that have been accomplished, great celebrations that have been had, great interactions that have been had with yourself, with this particular individual, with your mother, and just in general in your life. And that's going to help your frequency of celebration, your frequency of happiness, and also your frequency of receiving. Because in case you didn't know, taking the time out to have fun is one of the best ways to enhance your frequency of receiving, especially if you have been putting in the work like talking about. Because that's another aspect of the saying, you attract more bees with honey. Honey, honey, honey. Because it'll also remind you of your greatness and the things that you've already been able to accomplish and overcome, and therefore enhance your hope in yourself and in your life and in this connection. And taking the time out to like just chill and celebrate, you know, going back to the card that y'all chose to get in this group in the first place. About like, you know, get a smoothie, relax, unfriend that asshole, all that. That's also, all of that is correlating, whereas it's enhancing your understanding of the concept of teamwork. Because in a relationship, of course, it's not just you. So the responsibility of one thing or a bunch of things should not all be on one person. It has to go back and forth. It has to ebb and flow, you know? Do what your strength is. But like I said, at a certain point, you may have to put forth the extra effort to try to do as best as you can that thing that you're not really the best at, just to make it easier for your teammates, right? So with that being said, and I love when I'm able to use this like scenario analogy. When people have like really mothering energy, they can, or, you know, they struggle asking for help, but they really, 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 really want and need help. It makes me think about like how a person can be in the kitchen cooking, cleaning, or, you know, just working their ass off and clearly need to take a load off, clearly need help, and in so many ways crying out for help. But as soon as somebody goes in to try to help them, they irritated, they pushing that person away, they fussing at them, they acting like they in the way, and they acting like they don't want the help. And that's how the divine realm, that's how God be feeling at times when we are praying and praying and praying and asking and asking and asking for things. And then when God / the divine realm is trying to do their thing to help us, and we just won't get nowhere and sit down, we just want to do, because we're forgetting that it is a team effort. And that while we are spiritual, very God-like beings, we are also still human. And in this form, there are certain things that we just can't do like talking about. And we got to get somewhere and sit down, sip on a smoothie, you know, go through, control the things that we can control in the moment, even if it's just deciding to turn on some music and do a little two-step real quick and just vibe to the good times. You know what I'm saying? Because it be spiritual warfare at times, or spiritual blocks and things of that nature that we can't even begin to understand, let alone see in this human form that we are in. And sometimes when we're overactive like that, like I said, we be in God's way, and they be over there trying to knock out these demons, and we just be all in the way, wondering why we getting hit upside the head. It's because, child, God was aiming for the demon, but you in the way. And not only is that applying in a spiritual sense in the way I just put it, but it's also coming up to apply in this dynamic with this particular person. Sometimes you or the other person or both are feeling like, damn, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to take a load off of you. I know you be working hard. You be doing the most. You do a lot for me. I want to do things for you. But one or both of y'all will not, like, has a very hard time at receiving. And you be in your partner's way, they be trying to help you and be a good teammate. Or your partner be in your way and you be trying to help them and be a good teammate. But essentially, one main thing that will really help that for the both of you together and individually is to, like I said, take a load off, chill, structure some time to just sit, chill, and celebrate. And Spirit is saying that this space that you're in right now, this season that you're in right now, you got space to put a lot of emphasis on having a great time. And that is going to work in your best benefit as well right now, because it's, like I said, heightening your frequency of receiving. But also doing that shadow inner child work concerning reevaluating like your observations about your mother and your relationship with your mother. Those things are going to help you understand better specifically where and how your frequency of receiving is messed up. And then, of course, things that I didn't say here, you may have epiphanies about like, okay, that's what I need to do. Or, okay, I've been thinking about it like this and I need to think about it like that. And that's going to help you just function differently and take you out of, even though it's not present here, it did come up earlier when I was doing like a pre-read though, the Eight of Swords. It's going to help take you out of that Eight of Swords energy and really help you get better at manifesting. And when I said that, child, I heard power couple. So for those of you where this person is a close friend of yours, or y'all are literally like in a relationship, y'all have romantic relations with each other and all of that, it's giving power couple. This, and honestly, I've been feeling it the whole time, but I haven't said anything, but because I wanted to see if it was gonna come up specifically when we get to this part and be consistent throughout the reading. But yeah, for some of you, this person is your twin flame, and they've been your twin flame, and this particular lifetime is good karma falling on y'all. It's just been a couple of last little unfinished business things that y'all have had to clean up. And that's where it's like I said, this card right here is the next to the last card in this deck. So celebration before the major reward that causes the major celebration to come in. You feel me? The pre-game celebration to the big celebration. And overall, in a spiritual sense, it's given that for those of you that are resonating and that this applies to, where this person is your twin flame, this is about to kick off the period in y'all's lives in this lifetime where y'all literally can just decide to just, you know what I'm saying, don't worry, be happy with each other. Not saying that everything will be perfect, but y'all finna really start just really thriving in y'all's fucking relationship and throughout lifetimes to come, especially if y'all maintain the divine principles of this connection and the specific divine principles and things that came up, you know, notes and things that came up in this reading. It will literally be like in the afterlife, y'all spirits will literally have the choice of like, okay, what y'all want to do together now? Do y'all want to go back to Earth and just fucking find each other again and enjoy life and paint the towns red, goddamn, on some eat, pray, love shit? Or do we want to just dilly dangle and lollygag and live our best life in the omnipotence? Or do we want to go to another realm and cut the fuck up? Like, and for those of you where this is just like a friendship, not really romantic, twin flame is on the romantic part, it's, you know, specifically from where I'm speaking at it with this message. But for those of you where this is a friend, it's given like this is one of your main soulmates, and y'all are in a really good space spiritually and getting like meant to get into an even better space of like being a powerful couple friendship type shit, like platonic power couple shit, which is really fucking cool. And even though it's not like twin flame romantic, it's still very twinning energy. Like I don't even know like what references to give it, but I think that's kind of the point, because overall these connections that y'all have is very like no other. That's why I came up to that y'all have a really good understanding of each other. Y'all probably do very well communicating telepathically, as in without speaking. Y'all read each other well. You're able to predict each other well and anticipate each other's responses and things of that nature. And that's overall. But yeah, overall, this is very much so soul tribe energy here. Like, even just look at the imagery of the card. Very much so soul tribe energy. So whether it's your twin flame or one of your main soulmates as a friend, or a business partner where y'all got like a really strong power couple type bond, or this person is your mother or just like a maternal figure. And again, it doesn't have to be a woman. If it's a maternal figure, it can be a man that is very nurturing, very motherly. And or if it is your mother, or like I said, a maternal spirit, just a maternal spirit to you, it is more than likely that in a spiritual sense, like y'all spirit, no matter the lifetime, that person is your mother spirit. And if you're the mother in the relationship, that person is your child spirit. Whatever lifetime y'all show up in and meet with each other, that's your kid spiritually. You're the godmother. Or they're your godmother, if you will. And with that said, for those of you that applies and resonates with, the two of you together and individually may have the purpose of breaking parent-child generational curses, and also putting out information, structuring organizations and things of that nature that educate people and help people to heal their parent-child relationships, parent-child dynamics, and basically helping people to understand that, yeah, the parent guides the child, but also the child has a level of responsibility and purpose and functioning and also enlightening the parent. So putting out more for one, gaining more understanding to be able to put out more information and how both roles have power, as well as both roles have a time and a place to humble themselves and compromise in order to work as a team. And in other words, doing a really great service, especially if you are a Black person or person of color in general, breaking the master-slave dynamic that exists in so many parent-child relationships. And I'm going to leave it at that. And as I said in the previous groups, I'm going to make sure I put y'all on game 2 so that you're on the lookout. I will be doing like where I drop follow-up info and like just different tips and things for each different group to help y'all apply and gain a greater understanding of the messages that came through for this reading. So definitely stay tuned. And with all that being said, child, if I do say so myself, honey, I have milked this cow dry. And I'm thoroughly appreciative for the exchange of vibes. And if you're feeling synchronized, please do me a divine design and like, share, and reply. Don't be shy, be sure to bless my comment section with your questions and conversations. And as always, I bid you all light, love, healing, and liberation. Emphasis on liberation. Mwah.